Hi, it's Sonia here, The Pretty Stitch. Welcome to my channel. If this is your first time joining me, I'm so happy to have you here. So I usually post videos about knitting and crocheting, but I do like to post occasionally about other things, and today is one of those videos. So since the new year started, I've been doing a food challenge where I'm trying to really pare down my grocery bill. I felt like I've just been wasting so much money on food. So I decided as my New Year's resolution to see if I can spend less money on food. I'm heading into being an empty nester. I'm a widow. My husband died almost 4 years ago. So I was kind of using that as an excuse to waste money on food. And I did a huge pantry clean out right before the new year, like right around the holidays. And I just saw so much food that I wasted. It was just so upsetting, how much I had to throw away because I was just wasting and buying things that we weren't eating. And I thought, I need to do better. I really need to do better. So that is what I'm doing. So I am doing these weekly check-ins to just kind of show you how much I'm spending, what we're eating. I mean, nothing too exciting. I am trying to limit my grocery spending to $35 a week. And the 1 week I was able to accomplish that. Last week was not. So let's see how we did this week. So heads up, that did not happen. I went way over budget where I actually spent, I have my notes here, $68.10. And yeah. Part of that was I went to Costco, which I had been a member of Costco when my kids were younger, when my husband was alive. We did need more food, but then I let the membership lapse because I thought, I don't really need to go there to get a lot of stuff. I don't need to buy in bulk. There's 3 of us in my house now. My oldest one got married, and I have 2 others at home, but they're, young adults now, and they're often doing their own thing. So, I'm only making food for maybe, as I say, 1 to 3 people. Of course, when my daughter and her husband come over, then, I'll make food for them. But that doesn't happen all the time. So it's basically 1 to 3 people. And so I'm really trying to kind of teach myself to buy less, to just make what we're going to eat. Or if I'm going to make a large meal, then, to freeze it to have it for later, things like that. So yeah, so I spent $60.10, and I went to Costco because, as I said, I let the membership lapse, but my oldest daughter wanted a membership. And so to help her out, I decided, well, why don't we get 1 membership and we'll just split the cost. So of course we did that, and of course, we're there. So, you got to look around and see what they have. And yeah, so that got a little wild there for me. I mean, I really didn't get a whole lot. When you go to Costco, you get like 3 things and you've spent, $50. So what I ended up getting was I got a rotisserie chicken because we had to go when she was done work. So it was dinner time, and I really didn't have time earlier to make food. So I thought, well, rotisserie chicken, it's $5 and everyone will like it, and I can use the leftover meat. So I got one of those. And then they did have some really nice roast beef, which I haven't bought roast beef in a really long time because it's, food is so expensive these days, and beef can be really expensive. And everybody likes roast beef. I mean, when I make a roast beef meal, it always gets eaten, but I just really couldn't justify the expense. But they had this roast beef. So I was able to get 3 roast beefs, and it was packaged for $24.52, which I thought was pretty good. Now, they weren't the largest, but there was 3 of them, so I thought that's 3 meals. And because, my family's a lot smaller now, that will be plenty. So that was 3 meals there. So I figured, I was kind of thinking ahead, and I know that everybody likes that. So when I do make that meal, it will get eaten. And then the third thing I got there, food-wise, were muffins. And I can't not buy muffins when I'm at Costco. Part of it is nostalgia because when my husband was alive, he loved Costco muffins. And he also loved the containers that they came in for some weird reason. So that's kind of like a happy memory. There's some places I don't like to go to that were my husband's favorites because it's just really hard. So I just don't go. It's those weird grief things. But Costco is not one of those places. I have really good memories there, and it's just, he was just funny and quirky with those muffins. He loved the muffins, and he loved the muffin containers because I would try to throw the muffin containers out, and he would literally fish them out of the trash can sometimes and be like, I have a use for these. I can use these. And I was like, really? It's just a plastic container. And the funny thing is, when he died and we had his funeral, my brother-in-law came over and was helping to clean out some of my garage. It's still a hot mess. My husband, unfortunately, was a bit of a hoarder with some things, so we're still dealing with that. But he did find so many of those muffin containers that they were clean. He had cleaned them and they were stacked up neatly, and he brought them out and was like, so what is this all about? And it was just kind of, a happy, sad, funny thing. So what we did was we filled them up with candy, because we also found a huge candy stash in the garage that he had. He worked in education, so he would buy candy to give to kids and things like that. He worked in special ed, and so I guess that he would often stash candy in the garage and then say, oh, it's for the kids, it's for the kids. And we're like, yeah, sure, So we did find his stash. So what we ended up doing was we filled up those muffin containers with candy bars, because it was still COVID times when he passed, and we were not allowed to have like a meal. Like a lot of times you have a meal after a funeral. So what we did instead was we were allowed to have the candy in the containers, and then we made signs and said, please have a treat on behalf of my husband, because he did love sharing his food. He was really big with sharing, hospitality, that kind of thing. So it was just like a way that when people came to the funeral, they could take a candy bar and think of my husband, because he loved to share things like that. So those muffin containers, they kind of make us smile. And so now when I go to Costco, I always kind of buy muffins in honor of my husband, and plus we like them too. So yes. So my total at Costco was $39.50 for food. And then, of course, I still needed to get some other things. So I went to the discount grocery store twice. I usually only try to go once, but I did go twice. And so my one outing I went was $16.64. And then the other one, sorry, I'm looking down at my notes, was $11.99. And I just kind of bought milk and random cereal, random things like that. So again, my total was $68.10. So what did we actually eat this week? Well, we did have, let me see, go back to my notes. I have my computer here too. I've got like sheet of paper. This is printer paper. I hate my printer. I'm sure a lot of you have printer struggles. I have massive printer struggles. So every time I try to print something out, which my daughter often needs things printed for school because she's still in high school, I have to have them do a test page for some reason, because it just won't otherwise print the document. So I have all these printer setting test pages. So I'm like, well, let me use them for my notes. So you didn't really need to know that, but I need to stop griping about my computer, my printer. I mean, I'm thankful that I have it, but I'm probably going to need to get a new one this year, because it's such a hot mess trying to get that thing going. But anyway, so what we had for the week was we did a grilled cheese one night because I had leftover cheese and I had bread, and we did have some leftover ham as well. So that was from when the previous week I made scalloped potatoes with ham, and I still had a little bit of sliced ham. So I thought, let's make grilled cheese ham sandwiches, which my kids do like, and they were actually home, so they had that with me for dinner. I did do a soup one night when it was bitter cold. I thought it would be really nice to have like hot soup. I had found a soup packet in my pantry, and I was like, let me use this. And I used the leftover chicken from the rotisserie chicken to make the soup. So that worked out well. I did a chicken and potatoes night, so I just like baked some chicken and I made some roasted potatoes, which I love potatoes. My kids love potatoes, so I made some roasted potatoes. And then one night I had just an egg sandwich because it was just me. And then we also did. I was looking through my pantry, and we had some bacon in the freezer, and we still had some bread left over. And I had bought some cherry tomatoes because my one kid loves cherry tomatoes, and they were 99 cents. I was like, and they were good. Sometimes, you know, you have to kind of inspect it and be like, is it okay? But these were fine. And so I thought, well, let's use some of those cherry tomatoes for the BLTs. And I always have salad on hand. So yeah, we had BLTs. So that was pretty much it for dinner for us. And so yeah, I definitely was over budget, wasn't happy about that, but you know, it is what it is. I'm using this more as a way to see how much I'm actually spending on food and then kind of, you know, tailor my budget to that, because in years past, I just didn't know. Like when my husband was alive, I was really careful about, you know, what we bought for food. Like my food budget when my husband was alive and I had 3 kids at home was about $400 a month. And again, my husband was a large man, so I was like literally feeding 2 people because he was over 6'5", you know, 260 pounds. And yes, he was a type 2 diabetic, but you know, he needed a lot of food to keep him going. So I felt like I was feeding 6 people instead of 5. But now, you know, it's basically 1 to 3. So I'm really trying to see if I can, you know, really pare down my budget and see how much am I actually spending on food. And after he died, I just really didn't care, which is terrible, but it's true. You know, he died unexpectedly, and, you know, I just didn't care. So I thought I need to, you know, get better with that because, you know, there are starving people in the world, and I don't like wasting things. Like I really have a problem with that. It's genetics, I think. My Mennonite roots, we don't like
Here's
waste.
a recap
And
of some of the
so
food that I had for
it's
the
really
week.
been kind of
So for
bothering me. So
breakfast
I
was
thought the
just
new year
cereal. I
really
didn't take
helped
any
me out,
pictures of
you know,
that.
kind of give me the kick in
And
the
here's
pants
a
I needed
picture of
to really buckle
salad that I
down and
had for
see how
lunch. I
much am I
had
actually
salad just
spending
about
on
every
food.
day for lunch, so
So I am
that
going
is
to
one
show
of
you,
them.
I
And
did
then
take a
one of
couple
the nights
pictures
we
of some
had
food, nothing
BLTs for
exciting like
dinner, and then we just had a
sandwich.
side of
I have
baby
a picture
carrots
of
to
the
go
soup
with it.
packet,
They're actually rainbow ones,
but I
and
didn't
they
take a
taste
picture
the
of the
same
soup
as
that I
regular
made,
orange
which,
carrots.
okay.
And
I'm not
then one
sure.
night I
I
did
think
make
I had
soup,
intentions of
and I
doing it and
used the
then it just never
leftover
happened.
chicken
But, you
from
know,
the rotisserie
we
chicken
got
that I had bought from
snow and it was
Costco
really
to add to the
cold this
soup.
week. So
And
it's
I
been
didn't
kind
take a
of a
picture of the
busy
actual soup,
week
just the
with
soup
that,
package that I made
literally
the soup
like
from.
0 degree
And then
temperatures,
another night
dealing
we
with the
did
snow. The
have
snow just
some
wasn't
baked
melting,
chicken and
and we have a
some
hilly
roasted
driveway, so
potatoes, and
we really
again,
have to be
a
careful
side
when it
of baby
snows to make
carrots. I just
sure
didn't feel like
it's
cooking
safe
them. And
because
I know that
it can
plate
get
looks kind of
scary on our
sad. I
driveway.
don't know
So putting the
why I
salt
didn't have
down
more
and all
food
that
on there,
stuff.
but
So
I
that's
didn't.
kind of what we were
But
dealing
that
with
actually
all
turned out really
week.
good.
And
The chicken, I just
it's finally
baked
starting to
some boneless
warm up. It's
chicken
like
in the
35
oven,
today,
and
which,
I
you know, we're like,
added
hey, we get the
just some
shorts
random
out, you know,
spices
because
to it.
literally it
And then the
was
potatoes
the one
were
morning I woke up, it
roasted
was 1 degree.
rosemary
So
potatoes.
yeah, another day
I
it was
had rosemary,
0.
olive
It was
oil,
like a high of
and some
10.
other spices
So
that pair well with the
I'm just kind of
rosemary. I think
over it with
there's
the
thyme in
cold.
there and
Yeah, so
parsley,
hopefully I can do a little bit
and maybe
better
some salt and
next week.
pepper. I just kind of
And
throw
I'm
in a
not going to
bunch
be
of
shopping at
spices
Costco a
when I
lot.
make roasted
I just
potatoes,
don't
and
shop
it
there a
usually
lot.
turns
That's why
out
I had
really
let the
good each
membership
time.
lapse. But I did it for my
So
daughter, you
those
know,
are all the
things you do
photos
for
that
your
I
kids.
had for the food of the week. We did obviously have more, but I didn't take pictures of the other meals that I made. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please like and subscribe, and thank you so much for watching.